Or is that
Oh, so wait, are we cussing?
Are we cussing?
Oh, yeah, no, we good. We good.
All right.
Yeah.
Y'all don't have to
whatever.
cuss. I know you're
Free
worship
reign.
pastor.
Free reign.
I'm the loose cannon here.
I am
cuss.
nothing right now.
Say
I will
whatever
cuss.
you want.
Yes, okay.
We're not,
All
this
right.
is not
I want to be
church,
respectful
right?
for your space and everything. I'm come here being a nigga for like 2 hours.
Episode 6 of Inside Notes.
Is it 6 or 7?
Is it 6 or 7? He did that on purpose. Episode 6 of Inside Notes podcast.
Yes, sir.
And starting on your far left, Reggie Holmes.
Just Reg.
Just Reg Holmes.
You're just
Pastor Reg, Uncle Reg.
Just Reg.
In the middle, our special guest today, Kelvin Lee.
The legend. Should we stand? I think we should. All rise.
Right,
Really?
all rise.
Already.
Super musician. Grammy, what?
Nominated.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Grammy nominated musician.
Many years ago.
Heavyweight. Kev's a heavyweight. Both these guys are heavyweights.
Bro, there's royalty in this building right now.
A
Like,
lot of accomplishments and
right.
shenanigans.
All arrogance aside, man.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of accomplishments.
There's royalty in this building right now.
Credibility
Right.
sitting in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of experience, and all of it is not good experience.
My goodness.
And we're here.
Unfortunately. Yeah, hey, we going straight in.
Yeah, we-
I mean, because a lot of people can sit down and talk about, the positive stuff, I've done this and I've done that and blah, 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 and it's all good, it's all fine. No, I want to talk about the real stuff.
Let's get it.
Let's go there.
Let's go straight in.
Let's
Straight
go there.
So who's first? Who got a story? No, first let's recap. I want to recap on your story, Reg.
Which one?
Your recent parting with your recent church, your pastor position. How everything's cool now? It's all everything's smooth out.
Sure, I guess. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, more power to him.
I mean, because I know it wasn't the easiest of times, for you dealing with that. So I'm talking about you now, like.
I
talking
got you.
So
Yeah, I got
everything's cool. With you, like,
Yeah, no, I mean, he's an amazing God. And we've had numerous different examples of him taking care of us despite, I'm trying to word my words politically correct, despite directional changes. I don't want to use the word adversity because there's a negative connotation to that.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to have an antagonist and a protagonist, and I don't want to be accused of victimizing myself. But they have gone in a different direction. I cannot honestly tell you if that direction is successful, just because, if I'm honest, I have not been following that much. I know sometimes we, as a people, tend to, hate follow.
Instagram lurk.
Right.
Like,
I can't say that
hit
I
that
have.
note right. I hit that chord better.
I am in contact with the pastor. Has reached out to me a few times in love and in fellowship. I will be honest, still processing that. But blessings to him. As far as me, we of course, I'm gonna land on my feet, bro. So
yeah.
Still serving in similar capacity. Preached my first message after 6 months a couple weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, and that one already hit 3K.
Of course.
on the tube.
You always do those kind of numbers.
Man, yeah. And so let me give you the website for where I buy my views. I'll give that to you.
Oh, where you buy?
As long as it's not AI. Okay,
Right. I mean,
AI's here.
I've been accused of worse.
Yeah.
So.
Let me tell you why your answer to that question is already weird for me. The first thing you said was they went in a different direction, and you don't know if it's been successful or not. That's weird to me because when you were there, and we don't even need to go into that situation too much. But when you were there, what you were doing was a success.
Yeah, that's not up for debate.
Which could take me back into why that even happened in the first place, but I won't even go back into that. But that's, it was a success.
You know what? Let's take the spiritual for a second. And let's take the humanity part out of this, and let's take the spiritual for a second. Seasons are seasons, and the Bible does say, there is a time and a season and a purpose under heaven. There's a time to be born. There's a time to die. There's a time to serve. There's a time not to. And I will say this: it's been challenging in the last 7 months, to not serve consistently, but it's also been rewarding. I'm quad vocational. I keep 5-6 jobs with me. And so my main job, the school job, they took advantage of my free schedule and they put me to work.
Right.
I have just this year, I've been to China. I've been to Vancouver. Like I've been out already. Lunar New Year.
Right.
I played in a orca tank in China on Lunar New Year.
That's so fire.
That's
so fire.
Not an experience I could say that I would have had.
Right.
Serving under the ministry capacity. And so, sometimes you got to take a step back and look at the overall picture and say, all right, what was God doing for me in this moment? And a lot of times we don't want to do that, because when you say something like that, it sounds narcissistic. It sounds self-centered. It's like, but if you don't focus on you enough, then it's the reverse complications of that. You can't give and not take care of you. You pour out and you continue to pour out until your glass is empty. What happens is you have now garnished expectations for people to be poured into, and you have nothing to pour into them.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, the people that have placed these expectations on you that you did not ask for, the stigma that you did not ask for, they start to denigrate you because they're not benefiting from you, instead of doing what they should be doing, which is looking out for your well-being. And so when you get to a point where you got to start looking out for yourself, that is a vulnerable place where it is just you and God on that road to Damascus. See, the preacher's coming out of me already. And that's where you start to understand and respect God in a different way. The whole ways is not ways and thoughts are not our thoughts is when you have to trust him, because literally everybody else, with all due respect to my brothers, and I know I can call you guys for anything, but when you have no one else to turn to but God, and he still comes through, that will increase your faith in a way that's like, I don't really need this. And you wake up the next morning like, it's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
No matter what we have in terms of adversity, it's going to be a good day. And you start to put a string of wins, and then you start to feel invincible. And that's where I am right now. I'm feeling real invincible right now.
Did you prepare that whole speech
I didn't.
right there? You had that all.
It's natural. It's just a natural.
It's written down. Let me see it in your pocket. You got that written down.
Yeah.
I didn't.
You just come up with that stuff on the spot, right?
And I'm kind of mad now, because I need that for another message down the road. So Jay, I hope you caught all of that, because I'm sure gonna need that later.
So you've been good.
Yeah, man.
That's cool. That's cool. So Kels,
the legend.
So let me just kind of piggyback a while, because I served at that ministry he was at. You served at the ministry he was at. We saw the emotional and spiritual investment he was making in the ministry. And that's everywhere he's gone. It's not a specific building or a specific pastor he does that for. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
When he puts his name into a ministry, he puts everything into it. His family is a part of the ministry.
Yeah.
He brings his musician friends along. He has a community of friends and singers. And I just watched him from the worship nights to the special concerts to the special services. Him really put his heart and soul into that ministry, as well as other ministries and stuff. But I love the place that he's in right now, because we're kind of in similar places where we're kind of like, not so much mercenaries, but we're just kind of like, okay, like we know our worth. And sometimes,
bingo.
Sometimes our gifts are bigger than the four walls of a church. And sometimes
Preach, Kelvin.
you feel like as musicians that grow up in the church, that your gift stays in the church. And God has enlarged his territory from the day I met him to now, where it feels like every other week this nigga's in a different country, and I'm just like, bro, like, okay, all right, I see you, bro.
Remember
I see you.
when he texted last week, hey, we need to do another podcast episode. I said, well, do you even live in the state?
I'm like,
Bro,
what, how many pieces
I almost
do you
had to
have,
pull
man?
my car over.
Yeah.
I hollered when I saw
How many
that.
pieces do you have right now? Because but that speaks to the favor that God has given him and has blessed him with and everything. And like I say, he's a big brother to me, and I'm inspired by him in so many ways.
Yeah.
And like, if he calls me for anything, it's not a what, it's when and how.
Yeah.
It's
That's
no
real.
question.
Yeah.
No question.
Yeah, that's real. I love this man. Yeah.
Now speaking of being battle tested, see, I don't know as much about your background church-wise. Is your background primarily gospel-ish or CCM-ish?
Gospel, Southern Baptist. My dad was a pastor at my church for 38 years. I'm a PK, born and bred.
Yeah,
So like I didn't grow up playing though. I had to get the musicianship, but I was like, nah, bro, I'm trying to work on my crossover, bro. I ain't trying to be up. Like I grew up in Tucson, Arizona. So like I literally grew up next to a horse stable. Like that's where I grew up. So my frame of reference for gospel music was very limited other than the music I had in the car.
Yeah.
So I grew up really sheltered. I listened to nothing but Kirk Franklin, the Wild Gospels. Remember the Wild Gospel CDs?
wow.
Like that was my entire
Purple
musical.
and the-
yeah.
yeah, man. I remember the
That
Wild
was my entire
Gospel.
musical DNA. But I didn't take my musicianship seriously until I got to college. And when I got to college, I was like, okay, I had music theory, I had piano lessons, and I also grew up in the church. My dad's from Alabama, my mom's from Florida. So I got all the Southern, all that type of stuff infused in me and stuff. So that was my background. So, and then from there, once I started exploring my musicianship, that's when I was able to kind of like figure out, okay, what my sound is, how I should portray and define my anointing and stuff of that sort. So that's my background, man. So.
All right, so how do you feel? Because we talk a lot about the differences in a gospel. You know what I mean when I say gospel to the church. You know, I'll just say it the way it is. The black church versus the non-black church, right?
Yes.
So we talk a lot about the differences, right? So and my struggle, the struggles that I have with it is with the differences are, you know, I see both sides. I see the pros and the cons of both sides.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel about, so I'll give you an example. Like one of the cons with the gospel side, which is something that you know, I'm gonna say it, something that I deal with on a weekly basis now, which is, for example, at the end of the service, we have the invitation, right?
Right.
And the invitation works like this, where the pastor is done preaching, and then somebody goes, "Hey, Rob, play so and so."
Oh.
Like right now, like you have no time. There's no time to prepare. You just have to just
Go.
that versus the CCM world, which is everything is in planning center. You know everything you're gonna do. There's no surprises,
month in advance.
right?
In advance, the timestamps are there. You know exactly the key,
Everything.
all the files, all of the charts, everything's there.
Jesus will appear between 10:26 and 10:32.
Yes, he will appear. Yeah.
Right. So I'm dealing with that right now, but the struggle that I have is I can feel it, like it's I'm sharpening the skills because it's making me think fast on the spot. But at the same time, I remember being given the planning center, and I didn't have to. I had a more of a feeling of being relaxed on Sundays, where I didn't have to worry about everything was planned out. So it's easy, easy. So how you feel about the differences? Which way would you have it if you had a choice?
So I would say in terms of training, there's no better training musically than playing in a black church.
Right.
There's no better training on the planet.
Best musicians
on the earth are from the black church.
Yeah.
And because of what you just mentioned, that baptism by fire approach, to where you have to think on the fly, you have to have a song or two. You have to have what's called the 7-Eleven songs. You gotta have those 7-Eleven songs that you can pull at any time that's gonna resonate with the congregation. And go from there. And so I think with gospel music specifically, that there's gospel music in the black church, and there's two different cultures that are intertwined into one. And I think the culture of the church is probably what you're speaking to, where there's no preparation. It's the pastor literally. There was a viral video that went about that pastor not cussing out, but
couple weeks ago.
Yeah, chastising the bass player because he didn't know where he was going, even though they just pulled a song out. He don't know the keys or anything of that sort.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, pastors and ministers, they set their musicians and their worship teams up for failure in those circumstances. Where it's the opposite in the CCM world, where you have all the tools necessary to succeed. There's almost no excuse for you not to do this. But because of that rigidness, that formula, I call it a formula. CCM is a formula. It's literally, I can listen to a song on the way to church and learn it, and I'm good. I don't have to sit down and listen to like a Ricky Dillard song and be like, okay, all right, where's the tutorial for this?
Right,
'Cause
you're
I'm
not picking
gonna
them
get this
colors
lick.
up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like, in terms of preparation, it doesn't take much from a preparation standpoint, but in terms of the execution, it's not as fulfilling as being in a black church. If I'm being honest, being in a black church is so liberating, it's so free, and the reason why it's the best is because you really have to dig into your inner core to really express how the spirit moves and stuff for it to resonate with other people. It's not a skill issue. I just found out my son's just skill issue. Have you heard that? It's not a skill issue with that. It's a spirit issue. It's about being able to express yourself. So
Okay, so you mentioned having a feeling of this. Okay, this is what I feel, right? So in the situation I'm in now, I'm given a song on the spot, right? Rob, play such and such right now, right? And so far, like it's been a year and a half. So far, I'm batting 1,000, right? They haven't picked a song that I didn't know yet, right? So I'm doing it, and I do have a feeling of like, hey, I accomplished, like I did it.
Yeah.
Because I guess part of my character is I feel like, and maybe it's I think it's a character flaw that when I'm asked to do something like that, I feel like, oh, maybe they think I'm just being real transparent right now. Like maybe they think I can't pull it off. Maybe that's what it is. So I'll dig deep and I'll make it happen. Right? I'll make it. See, that's part of the problem. I feel like, it happens. I make it happen, right? And at the end of the day, I feel like, maybe I am okay.
With God's help.
After
With God's help, of
35
course,
years,
yeah.
maybe I am okay as a musician, right? Whereas in the CCM world, where people will go at the end of the service, oh, you play so great, you da-da-da. I'm like, well,
I ain't do
y'all
nothing.
gave me the
I played
song
4
6 days
chords
ago.
the entire time, bro.
And you
All
told me
right.
which 4 to play a
So
week
let's
ago.
get deep. Let's go there then. All right. So here's the thing. That same mindset, that same heart posture has been manipulated by the black church for generations.
Let's talk about it.
Period.
Talk about it.
Point blank. You call it a character flaw. I respect that. But at the end of the day, that comes from a place that we have seen in the black church where we have been embarrassed. We've been called out. We have been really called to the carpet for a talent on the surface that exceeds everybody in the church. So you mean to tell me because somebody gets up and starts to saying, praise the Lord, everybody, and you have 3 seconds to find the key, the tempo, and the song itself.
Yeah.
Or there is a church full of Simon Cowells that will judge you on a talent that they don't even have. How dare you tell me that I messed up for a talent? Like, I don't come to McDonald's and say that your fries was cold. So are you really going to sit here and judge me for not having the ability to pick up? It's because they were conditioned for generations to see somebody do that, not understanding the process. The difference between everybody else and us is, even in CCM land, because he said it, there are a lot of us who have kind of crossed over to CCM who will listen to that song at sound check in the parking lot. The 3 of us, even if it's 4 chords, we playing them 4 chords.
Yeah.
We're here Thursday, we're here Wednesday, because it's not just the chorus. We want sounds, we want ambience, we want numbers, we want transitions, we want lines. We want to make sure that what you just said, that we reflect our best self in that.
Yeah.
And yes, the gratification comes when some of these white folk come up to us and say, man, you play great, because we're doing something that exceeds what they're used to. But in the black church, it is the exact opposite. The first time we mess up, it's because we have not exceeded what they're used to. And what happens to the patience and the grace and understanding that it's me or nobody? Ain't no tracks in the black church. So when the organist does not show up, you got either tambourine ministry or they're moving the service.
Yeah.
They're making arrangements.
Yeah.
Sometimes we are as vital as the pastor or the speaker because we have overlooked how much importance comes with having that skill set until we judge it when it does not go according to past.
And to piggyback off that, so the idea of compensation, you're compensating us not just for how we play it, but you're compensating for the time it took for us to get to a place where we can literally on the fly pick up a song, play the entire song without messing up in whatever key, and from there, like, you're paying us for that instantaneous, reaction to what your thought in the ether came to and everything of that sort. So it's when we talk about compensation and we talk about the amount of compensation, it's not so much you're compensating us for us the ability for us to play a song, but it's the time that we put, the errors that we mess, the errors of our ways, the grind, the workshops we had to go through, the shedding, the tutorials, the money you had to spend on our instruments, the money that you had to spend on this damn studio. Like, you're paying us for all of our expertise in that moment.
Yeah.
That's what you're compensating us for. It's not so much your church service per se. It's everything that encompasses us as a musician.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting with us.
So true.
Yeah.
How many times have you brought your own board to a church gig? Not because you needed it, but because it was so astronomically better than
Oh yeah,
it was there.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, this key's sticky. Oh right. You don't have a pedal. Oh,
Right. Like, we've had to bring our own stuff, and that
organ key broken.
We weren't compensated for that. That was our
Right.
gear. That may have gotten broken when you're at this church concert, and the next person comes behind you and starts stomping on your keys. And to piggyback off the piggyback, here's, I think, a more beautiful thing when it comes to that manipulation that pushes us for our best self. And again, getting deep. The problem is that there's a comfort level when we go back to CCM and you see someone who already assumes or knows us personally. Case in point, I will name names. I was at Cornerstone recently. Daniel Epps Ben, phenomenal worshiper, great worship leader, came from a couple other churches. The one day I was there, we went off tracks. There was space there because, Reg here.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, like, as soon as I go somewhere, he's going.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's a confidence that instills in the rest of your unit when we show up knowing that we have the experience that comes from that black church. Knowing, I know he's not going to know where I'm going, but I know he's going to be there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I see both sides. I see the advantages of both sides. It had started because I had only been in the CCM situation starting in 2022, right? So it was new for me. And after a while, it started to wear down on me. I was feeling like I don't even get to do what I do really.
But I'll shoot CCM some bail. So in terms of me being a musician, so I'm a jazz musician at heart, so I'm a jazz head. My mentor was a jazz musician. The way I play is really jazz heavy.
Yeah.
So what CCM actually forced me to be more disciplined, because jazz discipline is discouraged. It's more about expression. It's more about not playing the same chord every 3 or 4 seconds. It's a full artistic form of expression. CCM, I had to learn how to scale back, and then when I learned how to scale back, I had to find chords or runs that were consistent with the record and stuff, where I'm not doing too much. It's just a little.
You know how to make it fit.
So there's three ways I tell people every time I go to a CCM church. Like, there's 3 things I say. I'm like, do you want gluten free? Do you want seasoning? Or do you want diabetes? So black church is diabetes. Kojic, apostolic, diabetes. Southern Baptist, you can get some seasoning, but so I asked every CCM church. I'm like, do you want gluten free? Where I'm just playing exact 4 chords, playing the record essentially. You don't need me, just play the record. Or do you want a little seasoning? 99% of the time they say seasoning. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, because there's salt and pepper, there's Tony Chachere's, there's Slap Your Mama. Like, give me some
Lowry's,
reference to some Lowry's, you know what I'm saying? So give me some reference in terms of what you want specifically. Because if you give me it, I'm like, we'll be here all day. We'll be all day. Give me that seasoning, brother. I'm like, no, you're not ready. Okay, I'll gluten-free it.
Brother.
And then second service, I'll put a
That's a
little
hard
seasoning.
R.
Yeah.
But see that is flawed.
Reckless.
This whole system to me is flawed.
Yeah.
Because if we're doing this in church, this is supposed to be for God, right?
That part.
I'm supposed to be able to put my hands on these keys and you get whatever is in my heart.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to you. Period. So the whole thing, it just seems flawed to me to even have to say, or I have to ask the question, do you want seasoning or not? It's just like, I'm not asking you if you want nothing. You heard from somewhere that I can get the job done. That's why I'm here. So
That's a good point.
Yeah. That is true. That is a bit. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you what I got. And it's just deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You heard
Don't-
about
don't
me before
call
I
me
got
crazy.
here.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah, you should know what to expect. You
Right.
Go on my Instagram. You can figure out where I'm at.
Right.
From there.
Right, you know what
if
I
you want
do.
me still? Cool, take me. But
Because I'm giving you really what's in here. Nothing. We talked about it before,
We
Reggie.
did.
Nothing that what I do is like oh, let me show off a little bit. It's not that. This is what I
My
really
worship.
feel.
Yeah,
This is
I'm
who I
just
am.
playing chords. That's
Yeah,
it. I'm
this
not.
is what God has
These are
blessed
easy
me to
chords.
So
Yeah.
now I'm back in the gospel situation. I feel like I don't have
Hey.
enough. I'm trying to.
Oh,
get
yeah,
it
yeah.
for-
Bro,
Yeah.
I did that. I was at ACM a couple weeks ago,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was real hype. And she said, let's clap our hands for 30 seconds. And she wanted to go into a bump, and I was like,
I was there Sunday, and I'm like, I'm no bass player. I
Right.
can do a little bit, but you ain't gonna get the full.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
not on no motif.
Not on the motif. It's Mo 8. No, bro.
Right.
No.
And she looked at me like nigga.
Yeah.
And hey, this is the product of, I've been in CCM
Yeah.
land for about 7-8 years
yeah.
now. So
So on that front, it does kind of handicap your ability, your skills and stuff, because
Yeah.
you're playing songs in A, and E, and D.
All day.
I love G, but
A-E-D,
yeah,
you're a G guy.
I
Yeah.
love G, but I'm tired of G. Honestly, I'm tired of it.
Tired of it?
I'm tired of it. I mean, there's only so many,
He can play in G though. He's one of the best players I've ever heard in
I
G.
despise G.
I love it, man. I love it. But the thing is, like, it can handicap your skills. So when you get to those flat keys, you're like, oh crap, where's that tritone?
Right, because all you got is F sharp.
Okay. All right. This lick, okay, blues scale. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Then you gotta it's like riding a bike essentially. So yeah, there's a drawback to playing in CCM. So there's a delicate balance between both gospel and CCM.
Yeah.
You have to find.
I
once you find
started
that
feeling
rhythm,
it.
you're okay.
I started to feel like, oh my God, I gotta get in here. I'm just in here in the studio by myself, playing bumps just by myself, just so I can keep
Yeah,
it,
I saw it on
kind of
IG.
keep it going a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But I do appreciate the fact though, because like we don't in the gospel world we don't use like it's the pads and all that stuff as much.
Yeah.
So I got to dig and learn more about certain sounds and stuff that I
Yeah.
was using. So I was and it helped sharpen my Ableton skills too.
And you are one of the greatest.
Because I have been using
programming.
Ableton
Yeah.
for years, like I said, in the studio doing tracks and stuff, but not for church, not the way that they use it. It's a different approach, right? Mm-hmm. And so it sharpened those skills though. So I appreciate it.
There's more. Coming from the gospel church, that is a free for all until we land on the 4.
Yeah.
And so whether you clashing with the bass or not, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Because like the only time you have to be on is when y'all are running a line together.
Yeah.
Typically at the intro, and after
Yeah.
that, it's like it's a free for all
Yeah.
until everybody land that plane on the 4.
Right.
But having said that, coming into CCM land, what it taught me was I got this Aviom now with 13 channels. And I have to listen to everything and make active decisions about what I'm going to do because I might be jumping on somebody's toes.
Right.
And that's not something that we were taught in the Baptist church.
Yeah.
Or in the black church. We were not taught to play as a band the way we thought we was playing as a band. They'd be like, yeah, the band was nice. No, the group of musicians was nice.
yeah.
They were not a band.
Not a band.
Yeah.
Not a
And
band.
now it's like you have to find that space that you're allowed to play without jumping on 7 EG tracks
Right.
and then another live EG there. And the other thing is repetition, man. Some of these CCM churches, to muster up the same energy for 7 services, that's not something we used to.
Look,
No.
Jesus didn't need 7. Like, I don't understand the idea of having 10 services on the weekend. I'm like, okay, money laundering aside, like, sorry, I don't understand the idea. I don't understand why do you need 7 or 8 services a weekend to reach? I mean, it sounds bad for me to say that, but I don't understand. Practically, I'm just like. 7 services?
Is it because
by Sunday afternoon? I can't even like rest, bro. Like,
But is it because it's that many people though that they have to have?
That's it.
You can't fit everybody in.
It's the
one
other model.
building.
And again, that's not
Right.
what we used to. We used to just building a bigger building.
if you ain't there in
Pack
9,
them up in there.
8, and 10,
Get the fold chairs
you gotta
out.
go on
Right.
live stream.
Like TD, he got one big building. They all come for 2 services.
Yeah.
These white churches will have 18 campuses and 9 services because the room only holds 600. But when you got 60,000 members, it's and I hear it. Here's the thing.
Sorry.
There are pros and cons to both. The con for that model is that is expensive.
expensive,
Right.
time consuming. It takes a lot out of your musicians, your
It
staff.
does.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
No matter how much you're paying them, that's
And here's the
it's
other
taxing.
thing that, and I will say this. This is going to be one of them controversial moments, but
Let's go.
when we are trained the way that we were trained, get up, go to church, sit down on B3, see the same people, watch them grow up. Our kids grew up together, doing life. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, even though it's totally going to get misinterpreted like this. But when you are in this model, where you are in Scottsdale, and then you are in Anthem, and then you are in East Valley, and you meet somebody in Midtown,
Right.
and you talk to them, and you pray with them, and you have an encounter, and you are not scheduled there for another 8 months, it is impossible to do ministry and to do life.
Build community.
When you have a new band every week, it is impossible to build that level of camaraderie that you have in our experience. Is it wrong? I'm going to say it's different. And so the reason why it's challenging for us is because we grew up going to the same church, seeing the same people doing the same stuff. And this model is very, very different for us because it is impossible for us to build lifelong relationships and ministry like that. If I'm praying for you and I'm going to see you again for 8 months, it's going to discourage me the next time I'm there to even pray for you. Like, why even bother if I'm not going to see you again for a year?
Mm-hmm. Well, how do you tell a church with 50,000 people or whatever they have that what they're doing is not a good idea? How you tell them? They're going to tell you, we got 50,000 people. What do you know?
Do they know Jesus? I mean, that's my thing. Like, or do they know church? Because
good point.
do they know Jesus or do they know church? And if this idea of just putting people in the building is your only currency for your ministry, I question what you're teaching your people.
For the churches that are doing small groups, kudos to the churches.
Cell groups, that's real ministry.
CCV is really good at that. They've got like 10,000 small groups, and that gives you the ability to fellowship with people on a regular basis, do life, watch your kids grow up, stuff like that. For the churches that have 20 campuses and your only time to fellowship is that Sunday service, or if they have events like a date night or Dave Ramsey or something like that, then you're not equipping your saints. And what's going to happen is they are, and this is what I can't stand about certain ministries that say this is our average weekly attendance versus our membership. This is who comes to our church. This is who belongs to our church. There's a difference between the two. And no disrespect to anybody who words it one way or the other. This is just my own personal feeling. But when you have that, this is what happens. It breeds a desire for those who go to your church to go find life ministry somewhere else. And I guarantee you, the people, the 50, 60, 70,000 people who go to the one church, they're involved in another ministry. I promise you that. Those who need it, they're involved in another. It's a small group. It's another church, something, because that hour for the week is not enough.
Inside notes. Inside notes. Inside notes.
Let's talk about this pretty impactful situation that you experienced not too long ago. Had some impact on your situation.
That's what you're doing?
It was very impactful. It was just, the impact was just so impactful. So long story short, so I did a podcast about this musicianship podcast, link in bio. So I had an experience where I was pinch hitting for an organist at a church in Scottsdale. You know, it's a very impactful church.
Oh my God.
Tons of community impact.
They have a lot of impact, yeah.
So I go to this church, state-of-the-art equipment, great musicians, just a good overall, like, okay, I can see why this church is very impactful. That's the way it is.
Right.
So
Start counting how many times y'all say that.
yeah. So after the rehearsal, we go to the back, and the drummer comes up to me. He's like, hey, man, you might want to move your car. And I'm like, wait, why do I need to move my car? And he's like, okay, we're about to go into a meeting with the pastor. And I was like, okay. But so like, we're gonna be here for a minute. I'm like, okay, I'm a guest. I told him I'm a guest.
It's your first time
here. I don't, if this is like a staff meeting, I don't need to be a part of this. He's like, no, you're good. So I go in, I sit down, there's about 30 people in here. Everybody just there is silent. And there's this guy, he's in like a linen suit with shorts, wearing a hat, and He's just looking like this. And I'm
Mr.
like,
Pastor?
I believe he's a pastor. I didn't think he was.
Oh, you didn't know at the point.
I didn't know who. I don't know who this guy is or anything.
Okay.
I go sit down. So this guy proceeds to go on this rant, and it's like a come to Jesus meeting, which is fine. As pastors, you have the authority, you have dominion to basically put your ministry in order, things of that sort. But it was not like that at all.
But you're a guest. So
I'm a guest.
Why were you even in this meeting?
I have no idea, and I wish I wasn't in this meeting because I was like, I don't think I should be here.
Everybody wishes you weren't in that meeting.
Exactly.
Please continue.
Because one, I'm a Q. I'm not going to stand around for BS for long.
Nope.
So he goes on to proceed to talk about like how he complains about how all his relationships are transactional, and that he's pointing out things he's doing for people. And it feels like really like manipulative. Like, I did this for you. Why can't you do this for me? Why did this and that? So then he keeps going down this rat. First of all, he's talking to himself in third person. Very weird. I never heard of anybody in a meeting talk about in third person. So I'm like, I go to the bass player. I'm like, who's he talking? Who's this guy? They're like, oh, that's him. I'm like, he's talking in third. Okay. So he goes on this rant. And he's basically chastising everybody in the room. And he's just pointing out things he's doing for them, everything. And he's like, why isn't this happening? Wasn't that happening? I built this ministry. I did this. I did that. I did this. Like, he just goes on this rant for 15 minutes. And then he keeps asking, does anybody have anything to say? So 15 minutes, nobody says anything. And I feel like I'm in a Black Mirror episode. I'm just like, what is going on? Like, this guy is calling everybody out and nobody's saying anything. And he keeps saying, I did this. I did this for you. I. I'm like, okay, if this is the pastor, okay, clear. Okay, so he's like, and so 15 minutes go by. I raise my hand. Sir, I'm a guest here. First thing he said, I'm a guest here. I'm like, you've said I 63 times in the last 15 minutes and said God twice. And I told this guy, God is not going to get any of the glory if you take any of the credit for his work. Whole room is silent.
I bet they were.
They're like, who is this cat?
Check, please.
And my bass player's like, oh no, you got Kelvin started. So he's like, no, God's gonna, and he gets defensive. He's like, oh, God's gonna get the glory if I take, no, God's gonna get credit when I put things in order. I'm like, you got every right to do that. But clearly you are complaining about the lack of relationships you have in the room, and it sounds all transactional, which tells me you're not doing real ministry at this point. And he's like, well, you're out of order. I'm like, sir, respectfully, I was just telling my wife that this was actually a really cool ministry and everything of that sort. But clearly there's some disconnect. And I'm like, your issues. And so this is where it got me. This is where it kind of set me off. He was like, I'll go back in the green room and I'll go through a year of footage to figure out what you guys are saying about me. Because the meeting was about people talking about him behind his back. And he has surveillance cameras on all of his members and stuff, which is a whole invasion of privacy issue. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, if you had to do that, I'm like, first of all, I'm like, sir, respectfully, you're the leader of the flock. You should be above this. Your battle's with God. It's not against flesh and blood. It's against principalities. And he's like, you're out of order. I stood up. I was like, sir, I don't believe I belong here. I walked out. I got escorted out.
You got escorted out.
I got escorted out. I'm like, oh, I'm a threat? Okay, cool. So then afterwards, that situation happened. Then, the impact was just so dramatic and everything. I called my dad and I called this man because this man is the one that set me up with the gig. And I'm like, what the hell did you just get me involved? Like,
you sent me over here with this crazy
I was like, look, because then here's where I messed up though. I'll be accountable. So I had accepted a gig that was less paying at that time. And I chose this gig over that gig thinking that, okay, it's $500. It's a big church. It's a lot of impact in the community. Okay, maybe it's going to be a situation where I can parlay this into something else.
Right.
But God he looked at my heart. He's like, no, you should have stuck with the smaller church instead of trying to go to the bigger church. He's like, you messed up in this regard. I had a plan for you. You went with your own plan. And as a result, you got burned per se. So
let's bookmark that just for a second. Okay. And I don't want to interrupt your story. Let's bookmark that for just a second because there could be an alternate reality for that. Maybe, just maybe you were the perfect person to be there. Maybe you were the perfect person to raise your hand and to say what needed to be said. We have all encountered high-profile ministers. Y'all have heard my Creflo story. And so sometimes it takes the fearless to stand up and here's the situation. It was respectful because you were given a platform. He said, does anybody have anything to say? Well, now that you mention it, I actually do have a couple of things. And he spoke. So I don't know if you were disobedient at all. I think maybe God was using you in that situation.
I agree. And so this is what really set me off. So basically he was talking about musicians and talking about the transitional side of being a musician and stuff. And he said he's a drummer himself, which I'm like, okay, maybe he's going to come from a musician standpoint. He's like, I'm calling my great friend, I'm not going to say his name. I'm calling my great friend that all musicians are whores. And he's right.
All musicians.
All musicians are whores. And he's right. He said that in a room full of musicians, some of the best musicians I know. These are family men. You called us whores in front of everybody. This is supposed to be a come to Jesus meeting. And you just disrespected every person in here and calling us whores. That's why I spoke up. That was like, oh, wait a minute. You're not about to want to disrespect my manhood to... he's like, and he's right. He said he doubled down.
I'm not a hoe. I ain't a hoe.
Right, I'm not a whore. And he was talking about whores as with money, about how musicians chase money. And I was like, oh, you don't not want to go there with me.
Same sentiment applies.
This is what I have a problem with, because I know who you're talking about. I know the church.
Yeah,
I'm not like giving him a pass for doing what he did, because I just know this is what I've heard about him. So it's not a surprise. Is my point, right? Yeah. What I'm surprised about is because the rest of the musicians there, you knew them, right?
Yeah, didn't say anything. I was like, oh, y'all gonna let me? Okay, I will follow the sword on your behalf. You're trying to protect your check, probably. Get it.
That's what I have a problem with. They all sat there.
That feeds into his mentality.
They all sat there and watched you get escorted out, and didn't say a word. I got a problem with that. If you were at the church I'm at now, and that happened, I would speak up and say, hey, pastor, you can't, don't do him like that. I would have to say something.
Yeah, nobody spoke up.
Now I don't know if they spoke up later or not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
If they didn't, and I doubt they did, because they'd probably be escorted out, whenever they spoke up. So
yeah, for a lot of those musicians, that's their livelihood. So I get it, but at the same time, integrity. I can walk away.
That's putting them in the whore category right there. They got to protect the livelihood. So go ahead and take this beating every week.
Yeah, and that's where I realized there's a spiritually abusive relationship that he has with his musicians and his staff. And they're being spiritually abused, but they don't recognize it because the carrot at the end of the stick is the check. And the check is a big check. I mean, I'm not going to be wrong. They get paid a lot of money, but that should never come at the expense of your ministry, your integrity, your manhood, your pride. Yeah. And I was just like, okay. And to your point, maybe God put me in that room just to say that kind of stuff. And I'm sure that at Impact, I know people quit afterwards and stuff. I know the sound guy quit right after that. Really? I know that he's gone through a bunch of praise and worship leaders within the last year. And it's just, and then when I go in the community, because I did a podcast about it, went viral. People from not even that go to the church are like, yeah, I dealt with that a-hole. Yeah, he's just like that. And it just validated everything that I said. I was like, I said something that really opened the Band-Aid in terms of just like, he's hurt a lot of people in this position. Yeah. And so at first I felt horrified for the musicians that were there, but I also was like, nah, bro, like, y'all gotta speak up, bro. Like, y'all now gonna let this white man with this band full of black musicians call you guys whores and not do anything about it. Not me.
That's why he did it, because they're used to him doing it, and they let him get away with it all the time.
It could be a both and.
It could be a both and, yeah.
It could be a both.
It could be a situation where the musicians are pimping their gifts, and that's a whole nother conversation where.
Or it could be he may have had a bad day. Yeah. I mean, there could be relationship there. There could be, this day he wild out, but the week prior he could have took him out to dinner. Like, I think that
your day ain't gonna be bad enough to where I'm gonna let you call me a whore, and I'm not gonna say nothing.
I totally agree. I totally agree. I don't think that we should mischaracterize what happened as any different. However, I said the same thing about a recent political thing. Like, sometimes folk just they have bad days, and sometimes we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater until we see the continuity, the consistency of it. Like, if you have a bad day, then you do something stupid. If you have a string of bad days, then you might want to seek some help about that. Mm-hmm. If you have a history of bad days, it's just who you are.
Yeah. And so on my podcast, I point out some Bible on what I was saying, because I think this concept of musicians being whores, or we're doing this for the money, we're doing this gig for the money. No. There's actually biblical precedent set in Deuteronomy and Nehemiah in terms of the Levites. What happened with the Levites were, because the Levites were the first in battle. They were the one that set the atmosphere for the Hebrew tribes to go to war. They played music. They did everything of sort to usher in the Holy Spirit, usher in Yahweh, so Yahweh can deliver them from their enemies. So what was happening was the Levites were being overworked. They were tilling in the fields. This is in Nehemiah. They were tilling in the fields and their families were starving. So Nehemiah came together with the tribes and was like, the 12 tribes of Israel, and he's like, hey guys, these Levites are like struggling right now, even though they're doing all this extra work. Take from the tithe and provide for the Levites. That way the Levites can provide for our ministry. That is the biblical precedent of where musicians are being paid. If this was a pastor that was well-versed in biblical knowledge and sound theology, he would know that, and he would not disrespect us and calling us whores. He would point to the fact that there is biblical precedent set in all churches, dating back to Deuteronomy when Moses was delivering people out, where there is a precedent for musicians being compensated. Now, the amount of compensation depends on the size of your ministry and things of that sort.
And your workload.
The amount depends on the size of your service. Is that a large?
I mean, it's a very impactful ministry. It's very impactful.
We'll get there later on, but yeah.
Yeah. So like the thing is, like, if he was a true spiritual leader,
I can't stand.
If he was a true spiritual leader, he would understand that there are spiritual consequences for disrespecting musicians, disrespecting just basically the word of God. Now you're using the word. You don't even know the word. You're not even rooted in the word. This is a corporation for you. This is a monument to your ego. And you are putting people into place if they don't fit in line with what your ego demands. And you're just spiritually, and I told him into his face, I'm like, sir, I don't think you have any peace in your life. And people were just like, oh my God. I'm like, no.
You picked the wrong one.
I'm like, I'm not the one. Like, I've been raised to speak truth to power and speak spiritual truth to power. Everything I said, it was in love. It wasn't me trying to like disrespect him. I was just like spiritually sensitive. I'm like, yo, man, like you are hurting and you are hurting everybody else around you. And it's only going to bring down your ministry. Even though you have these numbers and these equipment, it's going to continue to erode your health. It's going to erode your relationships. It's going to continue to do so until you have that Damascus Road situation where you surrender and you submit to God's will, and you put away all those things that you thought were all this clout, mindset in terms of trying to be a big church and trying to compete with the elevations. No, you got to put that out. So I can't use that.
I could ask the same question that I've asked about the I guess the CCV we were talking about, right? Like you said, his church is successful. They are having a lot of impact on the city, right?
Very impactful.
Huge church.
Very impactful. Just so impactful, bro.
So how some musician, because that's the way that they look at it. You're just another musician. Yeah. How's this musician gonna come in here and tell me, what I'm doing wrong? I got all these people in this church. I'm opening up another campus soon. Who are you?
Well, first of all,
you can't tell me nothing.
Let's be honest. Like, and I know we did it at the top of the segment, but. The three of us are not just another musician.
That's what he didn't realize.
Like, he picked the wrong one. This is a solid man, son of one of the most respected and respectful men I've ever met. Like, the Reverend Dr. Lewis he's a man's man. And you're not going to push him around physically. You're not going to push him around spiritually. You're not going to push him around emotionally. You're not going to conversationally. Like, you better know what you're doing. And this is the heir to all of that. You got to know what you're doing. And so you can't just walk in and think that you're going to categorize us as just another.
Well, you're absolutely right. But I think that's how a lot of them view us because of the musicians who sat there and watched you take the abuse you took from him, and they take the abuse all the time. Because of them, that's why they look at us.
That's it.
Look, I can just say whatever I want to say to these guys. They're not gonna do nothing because they'll keep coming here and getting this money.
Right. Stockholm syndrome.
Syndrome. Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. And that's what the room was. And I was like, oh, I am praying for everybody in this room.
Yeah.
Because, like, myself aside, I'm blessed enough to walk away from $500.
Right. I don't need it.
I don't need it. Yeah. But at the same time, I know that there's their livelihood, and I hope that they have spiritual clarity when they're giving their gifts to a ministry. And I saw one of the musicians not too long ago, and I told him that, hey, there are, like I said, there's good days, there's bad days. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe I caught him on a bad day or whatever.
Gino had a bad day.
Yeah, he had a bad day maybe, but at the same time,
He said maybe.
maybe that had been picked up. But the thing is, he was trying to like saying you're going to go through the green room and figure out what people are saying about you. That speaks to a much bigger issue. That's not us.
Not wrong.
That ain't God. That is you, your ego, and you can't handle criticism.
Yeah.
And people are scared to talk to you about it because they're scared. I mean, it's bigger. So, anyways. So, I just got really spiritually, I had a crisis of faith, I'm being honest. I was just like, wait a minute, like, if this guy,
Crisis of faith.
with this guy who has even a bigger church, who has musicians that we all know and that we mentor, thinks the exact same way that this guy is thinking, if that's what it is at this level of serving God, then, man, I feel bad for the people that follow that.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the people that invest their time and their energy into ministry thinking that they belong to something that is of God. But the thing is, like, that's where my heart went to. I was like, man, like, God, there's got to be a different way we can go about doing this.
That's how I felt when you called me. I felt like they were slaves.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a quick question about it. I know your answer already. I just want to put the question out there anyway, right?
Okay.
So when he said that, when he made the whore comment, he was quoting another pastor, right? Who we all know.
Yeah.
That pastor is black.
Giant kingdom. Yeah, giant kingdom. It's here in the valley. Giant kingdoms. A lot of kingdom building churches.
Big kingdom. Yeah, they're really based on kingdom. Yeah. And they're in this valley.
They're in this valley. They're in this valley.
Yeah. So if it was him, this is a black pastor, would it have sat differently with you if the black pastor, if you heard it come out of his mouth versus the white guy telling you that? Not just the whore comment, but the whole scene.
He's not allowed to use that comment based off of his own history that he did a whole podcast on himself. He can't call nobody. You know what? I'm sorry. Y'all finish your story. I'm gonna put myself in the corner.
Ironing clothes so he can go. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna put myself in the corner right now.
I think white, black.
I'm on timeout, Jay.
I think.
Would it have been different though if a black pastor sat there and had that whole same scene, the whole narcissistic type scene?
For
would it have
me
sat
specifically,
yeah.
No, it wouldn't have made a difference. I think white or black, you are a man of faith. You're a man that's professing the faith of Christ. You're a man that's leading people, and that tells me that one, you're not rooted in the Word. Your theology is flawed. And three, your character. I question your character. Once I question your character as a minister, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, if I see it and I don't even go to your church, I'm sure other people see it, but they're making excuses.
Yeah.
And they're trying to reconcile why they're involved in your ministry.
Yeah.
But I know with that specific pastor too, there's a lot of people that guys hurt as well. A lot of people that hurt.
They go through a lot of musicians.
They go to a lot of musicians. A lot of great musicians.
Yeah.
Great worship leaders. Great people.
Yeah.
So, I hold people spiritually, like the same way I would want to be held spiritually responsible if I was saying something reckless. I do the same for those pastors as well.
Bingo.
We gotta have the courage to hold our pastors and our worship leaders spiritually accountable.
They don't get that, Kels. They don't get that.
Yeah.
They don't get the fact that the three of us and the community that we're in, we hold people accountable because we expect to be held accountable ourselves.
Yeah.
Period. Like if I'm reckless and y'all don't call me, I'm cussing y'all out.
Yeah.
But again, even this other church that we're talking about, the one that's in this valley, again, is one of the bigger black churches in this area. I guess successful. I can't say super successful, but
I define the success of a church based on the type of flock they produce.
Woo.
And I think if you have a conversation with somebody from that flock, if you want to have a deep spiritual conversation, I think there's a limit to a lot of things you can talk about. So where I come from, like I say, the Bible for me goes super deep. Spirituality goes super, super deep. I have an esoteric approach to all things spirituality. I go beyond the Christianity. I go to Sumerian.
So there's not a lot of deep teaching going on.
There's
here,
not. That church is known as a prosperity church. And the prosperity ministry, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But the prosperity, where if you do these certain things, they treat God like a sky genie as opposed to somebody that's within you. You treat him as, if you do these conditions here, you're gonna be blessed. That's not necessarily how God works. God works in mysterious ways. We don't know the hour or the day or the time that he's going to intercede on our behalf, but we have to have be rooted in our faith. We have to give ourselves to Him.
I can't wait. I didn't mean to cut. I'm sorry for.
I'm saying, man,
because we got a break. We got to we got to switch the camera in a second.
Okay.
I can't wait to find out. I'm not saying I can't wait to die, but I can't wait to find out and hear from God. God might say, you know what, all that stuff you guys are doing down there with all this church is all a complete waste of time. You guys are all just down there playing with stuff.
And
So
here's the
waste of time.
situation.
All these
And we
denominations.
can cut right after this.
all
Here's
this-
the problem. This is a big city and a small town. And so
Yes,
the reason why a lot of these ministries are successful is because of a lack of options. And I don't mean that there aren't any churches you can go to, but there are a lack of options of this prominence because us, of this hue, we determine success numerically. We determine success. We talked about this. If they shout, we had church.
Oh, yeah.
There's no depth. There's nothing under the surface. And so let's be honest. There are 3, 4, maybe 5 prominent black churches that will check those boxes off. Right. I can only think of 3.
Yeah.
We can debate the other 2 in my brain. But so if you have that as an option, you got them 3. That's it. And so you can't leave because where else you gonna go? Because I promise you, half of the people that are at one have been to the other 2 already.
Oh yeah.
Inside notes. Inside notes. Inside notes.
I know we rapping, so I have to say this. It has been an honor and a privilege, and I am extremely blessed and grateful to sit beside these 2 brothers who are legends in their outright. And I do believe in giving flowers, man. I'm tired of speaking great over somebody when they're in a box. Like, y'all need to hear these words. Because as much as we work, as much as we pour out, as much as we respect of each other, I will say this. There have been seasons where the only time we hear these words is literally from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, it's us. Like, we're the ones that are celebrating each other while we are pouring out for everybody else. And they suck, and they suck, and they suck, and they just walk away.
Yeah.
So y'all needed to hear that before it was too late, man. I love and appreciate you guys for being who you are in life and being who you are to me. And these are 2 greats right here, 2 of the GOATs.
Respect, man. Respect. We're doing closing remarks. Is this?
he kind of closed it out. But no, I appreciate you guys being here. Those been because we've been trying to do this with the 3 of us for a while.
Wow. Yeah.
So we finally got it done. Kelvin, you added a lot. I knew you would.
Yeah.
You showed up big time.
Thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for letting me be me.
We was all in the same country for once.
Yeah, exactly. That part too. He was in the
always,
States.
Here you go.
You
was in
on
the
the plane
States.
every other.
I'm living the night.
Nah, man. Thank you, Rob, for opening up your platform to us, man. Like I said, this has been a month in the work, and this was worth the wait.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your unselfishness. I appreciate Reggie's unselfishness, and that's the key to being great. Honestly, being unselfish.
Yeah.
And when your heart is unselfish, God fills it up with opportunities and relationships.
That's right.
Bingo.
That's right.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So on that note, shout out to the production crew.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, you know I don't shoot any of it. Now you know.
No, okay,
Right,
yeah. Now how the sauce is made. I'm like, okay, all right.
Future
Bet.
legend.
You got a whole production crew in here.
You got the other stuff that's me in the studio playing around. That's me playing around. But when we do the real stuff, that's the crew.
It's legit.
I love it.
Jordy Mill TV.
Jordy Mill TV.
Nice.
All right, so
And the first lady. And
the first lady.
Yeah, the
First lady Miley.
Professor,
All right.
man, you are the catalyst. You are the Harriet Tubman. And a lot of people are talking, but you were the first, and we know that.
I've had this idea since 2020, at least during COVID.
Yeah.
I had this idea. So I should do a podcast, but I had a problem getting in front of the camera myself. I didn't want to get in front of the camera at all. I said, forget it. I just got to do it. So I've had this idea for a while.
Thank you.
To talk about, because we all musicians, we all talk about these things.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, I'll be getting on the phone. Man, you know what happened
Right.
to church yesterday?
Right.
It's about time we start doing. Now everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
But,
But it's good. It's healthy. The conversations are
it
happening.
is.
And I like that.
It is.
And for everybody that's about to jump in the comments, pray first.
I want all the smoke. I want all of it.
Pray first.
I want all the smoke.
Yeah, we 3 monster musicians, but in the comment section,
Yeah.
you might want to pray first.
Yes. Please.
Because that body count is dangerous.
Yes. Yes.
All
right,
right,
I love y'all.
we wrap it up. Peace.
Peace.